Welcome to another episode of the SuccessFactors show. As you can see, we have a very special show today because Simone is not in the studio here with me. He is at the SAP head office in Johannesburg with a very special guest today. What? Take it away.
Thank you, Rhonda. So we are here today in this beautiful venue in SAP Johannesburg with Thomas Otter. He's the Vice President Global for Employee Central. And Employee Central, I don't want to see the new kids on the block, but it hasn't been around for a long time, but it's a very powerful and everybody is talking about Employee Central. So the first question is, how many implementation really do we have now, end of 2014, beginning of 2015 globally?
Okay, so for Employee Central, we're heading towards 500 customers now. We have well over 100 live customers, and that number's climbing dramatically. We probably have something close to well over 4 million users of Employee Central today in well over 100 countries. So the product has grown dramatically. We're having currently a significant triple-digit growth, so over 100% growth. In short, the product is rocking.
That's pretty impressive. There's a lot of rumors around security in the cloud, and of course, the strategy of SAP is going into the cloud. How can we put these rumors to sleep?
Well, I don't think it's just rumors. I think there are governments are developing robust legislation to cope with the changing worlds of technology, and as a software vendor, it's kind of important that we take these laws into account and we respect the legal requirements of companies, of countries. And in many countries, we work closely with the governments to understand what those laws are and to architect our solutions to comply with those laws. So for instance, being based as a German company, we have a strong heritage of privacy in Germany, for instance, and we've been able to build our solutions to reflect the requirements of the German market. Similarly, working with governments in places like China, Russia, the United States, and we will also work with governments here to figure out exactly what is the best solution to cope with the security and privacy demands of the local market. On this, I'd make one point, is that security is really fundamental to this business. We're a bit like a bank. Companies trust us with their data. Yeah. You don't put your money under the mattress, so you shouldn't put your data under the mattress. But we take our responsibilities towards your data very, very seriously.
That's a very good analogy. SAP is famous for very large implementation. Globally now is going also towards the small and medium enterprises. With SuccessFactors specifically for Employee Central, do you cater only for large implementation, large customers, or any kind of customers?
It's across the board. We actually started with the smaller organizations. SuccessFactors Employee Central really began, and its initial heartland customers were 1,000 employees. That's typically where people get serious about a core HR system, is between 500 and 1,000 employees. But we've now grown to coping with some of the biggest companies in the world. But I would say right now, probably our sweet spot is the 10,000 employees running in 10 countries. We're doing those really, really well. I was speaking to a customer just yesterday that went live at Finland, 40 countries, 17,000 employees, and they went live in 8 months. So we're seeing a massive shift to the smaller global companies. Companies who previously would look at a core HR system and say, yeah, it would be nice to have one, but it's too complicated or whatever. With Employee Central, they're able to deploy a global system, get the advantages of a global system, but do it in a lightweight, speedy fashion that you could not simply do with the older technologies.
Okay, thank you very much. When we do implementation of SuccessFactors, specifically Employee Central in Allos, the first question that we see the fears of the clients in the first iteration when they say, okay, HR is a massive thing. So what are the main steps? I know it's a question that could take a day to answer, but what are the key main factors that anybody needs to consider when implementing Employee Central, both if they come from SAP HR or if they start from scratch?
Yeah, I think the main thing to think about is that implementation methodologies in the cloud are different. Okay, we have a faster implementation methodology. It's more of an iterative approach. So the goal is to get something in that is functional quickly, and then improve it. So instead of sitting in a room and spending years and years coming up with as is, what if analysis and and many documentations and many stuff. You just get on and do it. You follow the methodology, and you go live with something small at 100%. You make it successful, and then you then build on that. You build on that success. So the implementation, instead of becoming this big bang project, becomes an iterative project. I think the way I describe it is on-premise projects are a little bit like going to a health farm. It's like a big exercise, and you go once a year, and you come out of it looking beautiful. Whereas cloud is fitness. You do a little bit every day, and you improve constantly.
Yeah, it makes sense. It makes sense. Thank you very much. And in terms of the strategy of SAP going forward, Employee Central is just one addition in the suite of SAP as a SuccessFactors component in BizX, or is it a strategy of moving core HR on-premise into the cloud in the future? I'm talking medium to long term.
Yeah. Well, it's our go-forward solution for HR, right? So we will continue to invest in the existing on-premise core HR system. That does not go away. We have 16,000 customers, depending how you measure it, and many of those customers are very happy with that solution. We will continue to maintain and enhance that solution. But the vast focus of our R&D and our development focus is around Employee Central and the cloud and the cloud solution. So organizations will move to the cloud. Whether they move today or in 20 years' time, at some point they will be in the cloud. And the message I'd give to customers today is that we're ready for you. We have some of the biggest companies in the world running Employee Central in the cloud, and we can have you on that cloud. What I would say though is set up the speed at your pace. As a customer, move at your pace. We've developed technologies to enable SAP on-premise customers to coexist with Employee Central. So, for instance, you might continue to run your core HR system in South Africa, but deploy Employee Central, for instance, in Zimbabwe, in Kenya, in Tanzania, in Egypt, and we have technologies now to bring those two together coherently. So that's a big part, I think, of our success, is giving our existing customers a journey. But Employee Central is not just about our existing customers. We think there is a massive market that we can address with Employee Central that we haven't addressed with the on-prem products. You mentioned that earlier, for instance, the sub-1,000 employee organizations. And also, I think as we move into the rest of Africa, there's tremendous opportunities for organizations that currently are just using Excel to move to a modern solution.
Yes, absolutely. And talking about globalization, one of the questions we get asked more, even at pre-sale stage, is every single country has got different laws for what concern employment, payroll, and all of that. In terms of the various different needs that the customers have in different countries, how do you address that from a globalization point of view for Employee Central?
So one of the advantages we have as SuccessFactors being part of SAP is we've been able to build a very strong partnership with our colleagues in globalization services. And so what we did early on with SuccessFactors is we worked with the globalization team, with the local business partners in the country, to develop a localization strategy for Employee Central. And the localization strategy for Employee Central differs somewhat from the localization strategy of SAP HCM. The localization strategy of HCM was very payroll focused. What we've done with Employee Central is we've localized for HR. So we've spoken to HR leaders and professionals and so on around the world, and we have built in HR compliance today for 71 countries in Employee Central. So ranging from Brazil to South Africa. So for instance, South Africa, we do the I think it's the E2 reports. We do that kind of the affirmative action reporting. The skills legislation in South Africa. We focus more on those kind of things than we do on the payroll compliance. We have a powerful payroll engine to handle the payroll compliance with SAP Payroll. So we focus differently. We focused on the HR compliance rather than simply just the payroll compliance. We have 71 countries today, and I expect just a matter of time before we have the whole world. And that's actually, we've done more than in 18 months, we localized for 71 countries. So that's really an indication of the speed of what we can do in the cloud from a development point of view.
Thank you very much. We are very excited about the growth that Employee Central is having. I think it's going to benefit greatly across all industry. Thomas, thank you very much.
Nice to meet
thank
you
very
guys,
much.
Thanks for having me on your show.
No, it's perfect.
Thank you.
Rhonda, back to you in the Allos studios.
Enterprise. Scott here, sir. We're beaming up. Notify transporter room.
Thank you very much for that, Simone. That was very interesting. Oh, wow. That was quick.
Oh wow, that was quite something. It just messed with my hair a little bit, but otherwise very, very good.
Welcome back. Welcome back.
Thank you.
Wow.
That was really an interesting interview. I'm sure we have a few spin-offs from another episode from this interview, but there isn't much time today, as being already a long episode. So, but we can't close the episode without the naked truth, can we?
Exactly. And the question for today is, why did SAP purchase SuccessFactors?
The naked truth.
You know, I'm really keen in this naked truth today, the answer, because in 2011, I wrote an editorial on the Leadership magazine where I wrote exactly about this, why SuccessFactors purchased, why SAP purchased SuccessFactors for $3.4 billion, by the way.
Good evening and welcome to the Money Program. Tonight on the Money Program, we're going to look at money. After the interview that you saw, we had a workshop with Thomas, and he actually went into the same subject, confirming exactly what I wrote in 2011. And basically, the thing is, SuccessFactors was at the time, and is still today, the market leader in human capital development. And that was something where SAP really wanted to grow and get stronger. But because the whole market of talent management worldwide is 3.5 billion, is more or less the same number. It doesn't make any sense to purchase a company for that amount of money.
Money, money, money makes the world go round. Money, 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 money.
So the reason for that, I mean, this is not a secret, it's something that has been disclosed in few interviews with executives in SAP, is that SAP wanted to go into the cloud massively, and they didn't want to have a longer period of development and reinventing the wheel. So they just got the best of breed, and they needed a massive, a critical mass company that will push the change of SAP in general to go into the cloud. So as we will see in a future episode, the cloud is inevitable, and I think that SAP really did a very good move in acquiring SuccessFactors and moving not only at the head of the game with human capital development and talent, but with cloud in general.
And all their products.
Absolutely. Thank you very much for staying with us again. It's been a bit of a long episode, but I'm sure you enjoyed it. Thank you, Rhonda,
Thank
again.
you very much, and welcome back from the teleportation session.
Yeah, wow, that was weird. Thank you. See you next one.